I'm positioning myself to be the candidate that is selected by the people of this district and not selected by Washington insiders. There are other candidates who have been selected by the establishment. You could tell because they've gotten large infusions of money by Washington insiders, career politicians. Ours is a people-powered movement, and we've outraised everybody in the field with nothing but individual contributions and a collection of contributions from working-class people. My campaign is fully funded by people and for people.
And speaking of the people, what did you learn from your time with the Obama administration about what it will take to bring jobs to the 50th District?
It's a great question. I think what informs my experience is more than just serving in the Obama administration, is I myself was a member of the working class. My mom raised me by herself through being broke and brokenhearted. At the age of 15 and a half, I worked as a janitor to help my mom pay the bills. So I've experienced the pain of it, I've seen the problem of it, but I've also seen the solution of it. In my district, it is double the unemployment rate of the rest of San Diego County, and that's happened under Duncan Hunter's failed leadership. When I was at the Department of Labor, we worked on a program called Apprenticeship. It pays double the median income in America, and it pays $70,000 a year. I want to bring those jobs back to this district at a time when we need it most. People are living paycheck to paycheck, they're working more for less, and the truth is, we have to invest in our people, our schools, reduce healthcare costs, and bring people back together again. One of my volunteers says, we don't need a hunter anymore, we need a gatherer, and that's what I'm trying to do, is bring people together again.
What would you actually do in Washington, D.C. to make that happen?
Yeah, so right now we only spend $90 million a year on a program called Apprenticeship. Germany spends $1 billion a year. I'd like for us to spend $1 billion a year on putting people back to work, working with unions and community college on trade school. If we did that, I think a lot of folks who come to, let's say, San Diego State University, who aren't really ready or prepared or know why they're here, they're just coming, and then they find out later on they want another career path. If we move them to trade school, we would free up funds for those who have a plan to graduate here and be able to give these other people a pathway towards a good career that pays double the median income. What I'd like to see is maybe take some spending on the wall, which, by the way, Duncan Hunter Sr. helped build the previous wall, and it reduced apprehensions by 95%. Why are we going to spend American taxpayer on a wall that we don't need? I'd like to see that funding go to build up working families instead of building another wall that we don't need.
Your father's an immigrant, and your mother, I believe I read that, were her parents immigrants?
Yes,
or? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have that in your background. How has that impacted your perspective when it comes to policies, maybe immigration reform?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I think that what we need is to bring people out of the shadows. I talk to people in my district, conservatives, who say, you know, we're concerned about criminals and drug dealers and rapists and killers. What I tell them is, you know what? That person getting an education isn't in that category. That young person who came here through no choice of their own, those dreamers who are contributing to our economy and way of life, it's not them. In fact, you know who the biggest victim of undocumented criminals are? Other undocumented immigrants. But they can't report it because they'll be deported. We need to stop demonizing the immigrant community. A lot of them contribute to our economy and way of life. What I'd suggest is we give them status so they could report these criminals, these drug dealers, these killers, that are a very small section of the broader immigrant community. Immigrants make America more American, and my family is an example of that.
43% of registered voters in the 50th District are registered as Republicans. And for the last 16 years, they've actually voted Republican for this congressional seat. So what makes you think that you can win the votes?
Yeah, well, I mean, things are changing. Like, my campus is changing here at San Diego State. Times are changing, realities are changing, and this district has been controlled by one family for 4 decades. People want fresh leadership. Look, we flipped Alabama. Don't tell me we can't flip the 50th. We can by turning out young people, minorities, women, lifelong Democrats, and even Trump supporters that I've talked to. They're not ignorant. They're ignored. 9 million of them voted for Obama in '08. And they voted for Trump in 2016. They're okay with sending a skinny brown guy with a funny name to Washington. They've done it before. And people don't know this, but did you know that our district actually voted for Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton in the primary? That Escondido, where 30% of all voters live, voted for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. So people will look past my hues if they hear my views. I care about people's education. I don't care about their personal politics. I care about their personal health, their personal safety, and their personal financial dignity. If we run on those issues, I guarantee you, nothing lasts forever. We could flip the 50th, just like we flipped Alabama and so many other races in the special election year.
Ammar Campa-Najjar, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.